One state seems to be going back in time when it comes to a death penalty option. Here's CBS's Frank Sedapani.
The Utah legislature has given final approval to a bill that would allow firing squad executions if the state runs out of lethal drugs. Death penalty critic Richard Dieter calls the move a step backward.
Utah is the only state that has used the firing squad in the history of the United States. It was only used 3 times in the past 40 years, so it's rare.
One of the bill's sponsors says he prefers using lethal injections, but the state has to have a backup plan. Governor Gary Herbert hasn't said if he'll sign the bill into law. Frank Sedapani, CBS News.
East of Seattle, the FBI has found an underground bunker that apparently was used by a bank robber who spent 5 years on the run. He's in custody now, and investigators have seized new evidence from the location, including a cot and big plastic bags. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost you thousands. The Quicken Loans PMI Advantage is our lender-paid mortgage insurance program. You see, we pay the PMI so you don't have to. PMI Advantage can give you more options, more flexibility, and may save you thousands when you refinance. To learn more, call us at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
As an entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Sound professional with a main greeting and multiple extensions that forward callers to your mobile phone. You can even get voicemails transcribed. Join over 150,000 small businesses who stay connected with Grasshopper. See how it works at grasshopper.com. The entrepreneur's phone system.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs: a friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, back live right here on the radio on this very pretty Wednesday, March 11th, 2015, right here for a Sports Scene interview show every Wednesday from 12 to 1. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Also invite you to watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. This is your home for CBS News in Hampton Roads. Tell your friends about 1650 WHKT. Find them on Facebook. On Twitter, you can find me at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HR Online Mallcom, where we always interact with our listeners and followers. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup. highlighted by Mike Burnop as the Virginia Tech basketball team still in the ACC tournament. Nobody's talking about them, but they're still alive, barely, but they are still winning. We'll get an update from the ACC tournament here in just a few moments. Don't forget the sponsors on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, Marketplace 1 through 5, guest lineup presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com and GJBTV.com, Marketplace sponsors. Phone line today presented by Fink's Car Care with 2 locations, and of course March Madness. The tournaments going on in the ACC, the A10, the Big East, of course, the Big Ten, Conference USA with Old Dominion, the MEAC this weekend in Norfolk, a little local flavor there as well. And, of course, I want to thank me, Hogar, Finks, and LoveMyMover.com as well. Big fight coming up May 2nd with Pacquiao and Mayweather. Looking forward to that as well. Save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org, May 28th to May 31st. Looking forward to that as well. And, of course, a lot going on right here in the world of sports. Finally, the roads are finally clear after all the snow we had in February. Thank goodness. Glad that is behind us as well. Don't forget the Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament, the 15th annual, will be at Peninsula Catholic High School on April 15th at 5 o'clock in Newport News. All right, with Ken Johnson, this is Greg Bicouvaris. This is Sports Scene, the only local show in Hampton Roads during the lunch hour. We'll be back after these messages.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back live right here on the radio, live 10,000-watt voice of Hampton Roads, where a lot of Virginia Tech athletes have called home over the years. Right here on CBS News, your station right here at the top of the hour for CBS News. This is Sports Scene right here every Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also anywhere nationally on Tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen to your phone or your computer. We've had them several times on Sports Scene at this station as well as when I worked for the Redskins Radio. Let's welcome Mike Burnop, who played football for Virginia Tech, who does analyst work in basketball on the radio and football. Mike, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Greg. How about you today?
Very good. Tell us where you're at right now, Mikey.
I am out at the Greensboro Coliseum. The first game is underway, which is Florida State and Clemson, and so I had to come out in the kind of the hallway just to be able to hear because it's a little bit loud in there. The crowds get bigger by the day, and it's an exciting time for the ACC tournament, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you stepping aside for a little bit and taking some time. Of course, let's talk about what's relevant right now. Virginia Tech, of course, who would have thought only 11 wins so far this year, but Buzz Williams has definitely got a buzz about this team. You can tell they're a year or two away when he gets his own players, but it sure was nice to get a win like that, a very dramatic win, 81-80 against Wake Forest, basically in their home gymnasium almost.
Yeah. It was a great crowd. They announced the crowd at like 9,000, but it was fun. There were a lot of Hokies here, and the Hokies, of course, had lost to Wake Forest in a game in Winston-Salem back on January 31st. It was a one-possession game like so many of these games have been this year. But, gosh, they made enough plays at the end of the game to get the win, 81-80. It was really exciting. That was a lot of points that the Hokies scored, and Jalen Hudson was just, he played the game of his life career-high 32 points. He was outstanding.
And of course, the team knows in order to go to any postseason, they're going to have to win this tournament. But what a daunting task if they did get to the finals, because they know they can play any team well. They did that against Duke. They got to play, of course, Miami then still Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But Miami's a team Virginia Tech's very familiar with. As we're talking to Mike Burnop, they played them twice, most recently on March 7th as well as in February.
Yeah, it didn't fare too well in either game against them. It's one of those deals where you got to play 40 minutes, and the Hokies played one good half against Miami, both occasions. But you look at the game, the last game they played back in March, just a week ago, I guess.
Yeah.
The Hokies just got outscored 46-18, I think it was in the first half, and really got dominated. And even though they played better in the second half, that is just too big of a hole to overcome. So really, Greg, you look at the second half down at Miami, that was a three-point game at the half in Miami. Second half, the Hokies got blown away, and then the first half in Blacksburg. So you combine those two, the second half in Miami, first half in Blacksburg, 93-44. That was the combined score.
Right.
So clearly the Hokies, if they have any chance, they got to play for 40 minutes, just like they did yesterday afternoon.
This is Sports Scene talking to Mike Burnop live from the ACC tournament. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us up until 1 o'clock. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link as well and listen to tunein.com. Type in WHKT. You talk Coach Larinaga from Miami. Of course, he knows Tech well. He coached at George Mason for a long time. He sure is an elite coach as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's got Final Four experience. When he took the George Mason team there and had that magical run, he's won everywhere he's been. He's a great recruiter. He's got an unbelievable class coming in next year. So he's just a tremendous coach. I have the utmost respect for him, as does Buzz. And I'm sure he'll have his team well prepared. They got the bye, obviously. So they'll have some fresh legs coming in here, along with the confidence factor that they beat the Hokies twice.
Yeah, and of course I made it very clear I wasn't a big fan of James Johnson. No, he was quite a gentleman. That was kind of a tough hire by Jim Weaver, one of his last hires there. But I think everything has worked out well for everybody with Buzz Williams. He's definitely got a fiery personality. Is he always wound up tight on and off the court like that, or is that just the basketball side of him?
He's wound pretty tight.
Yeah.
I mean, he is basketball 24/7. But it's interesting. He was talking the other day, Greg, about how much he loves coaching this team. He said, this is going to be one of the worst records I've ever had coaching. He said, but it's one of the most fun times I've ever had coaching. He said he loves these kids so much, what they're all about, what they've been able to do, how he's gotten about every ounce of basketball out of them that he can get. And it hasn't been easy or fun at all times, but he's a tremendous coach, wound tight, but expects a lot out of these kids, and he's got a great recruiting class coming in, and they're going to get better every year.
Do you think this is a stopper for him? I mean, he was at Marquette for a while. He's still a young guy. This is definitely a destination school, an ACC school. What is your take when you talk to him off the air?
I think he likes the challenge here. I think he realizes that in a few years, I mean,
Sure.
Think about it. You got 4 Hall of Fame coaches right now, right? I mean, you got Boeheim, and you got Krzyzewski, and you got Roy Williams. I mean, it's just a matter of time before those guys are going to retire, and the next wave of coaches are going to be out there. Well, Buzz is only 42 years old, so he's got a chance here in a few years when he gets his foundation built and the recruits come in that he's going to make that next wave, and he'll be successful. He was very successful at Marquette, and it's just a matter of time before he gets his players in here and can be able to challenge in this league. It is a very, very difficult league, as everybody knows, but I forgot to mention Patino at Louisville. I mean, obviously he's a Hall of Famer too. So
Sure.
It's stepping into this league.
Yeah, and folks, this is not the regular old ACC tournament where you have the quarter, semis, and finals. There actually is a first round, second round, quarter, semi, and final. Can you imagine, Mike, if Syracuse was in the tournament? It would have definitely been a totally different animal.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's right. And it's such an advantage with the 15 teams now to be able to finish in the top 4 spots because you get that double bye. So what an advantage that is. I mean, Virginia, Duke, Notre Dame, and Louisville have that luxury this year, and everybody else is on the outside looking in. Of course, Miami got the single bye, so they'll have some fresh legs tonight. But, yeah, it is. It's most difficult without question.
Well, let's talk from a fan standpoint, Mike. When a lot of times when you were not in the ACC, when you were in other conferences, it was hard to get a ticket. It seems like now there are some seats available for fans to still enjoy the ACC tournament.
Well, they still split them up between the schools, and obviously with 15 schools, the allotment per school is way down. And there are some tickets available, but I'll say this, once the week goes on each and every session, there are more and more people here. They had 9,000 last night for just open seating for the 2 games yesterday afternoon, which I thought was a great crowd. They actually lowered the curtains on the upper section to try to keep everybody low so it would look good on TV. So it was a good crowd. So, yes, and the other thing, Greg, that happens is when teams lose, a lot of those teams that lose, their fans will go sell their tickets to somebody else. So, for example, if you've got a Carolina or a Duke game in the semifinals or finals, I mean, the place will be totally blue, with the exception of maybe some fans that came from a long way away for like a Louisville or Notre Dame. So,
right.
Yeah, it's funny how they kind of get their allegiance.
This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live right here on the radio, talking to Mike Burnop, 12:19 for a few more moments or so. And you talk about, Mike, the night games. I guess one advantage is you don't play till 9 o'clock at night to rest up a little bit, but the disadvantage is it's hard for anybody, even for a football team or a basketball team, to be at full strength physically, mentally, emotionally at 9 o'clock at night because your body's so geared for either afternoon or evening games, earlier evenings. I know you guys do play 9 o'clock games, but still, that's still late.
Yeah, well, but it's tournament time, so I think you kind of forget about all that. Plus, most of these kids are 18, 19. I mean, the Hokies have so many freshmen. I mean, 52% of the minutes played are by freshmen. And obviously, Jalen had a great game yesterday. He's a freshman, so I fully expect they'll be wired up, ready to go. And, in AAU ball, they play 3 or 4 or 5 games a day. So for these kids, they're not our age, Greg. They got a few more legs.
Mike, you're not going to be
more juice in their step.
Mike, you can't go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight. You got to step and broadcast the game. But let's talk.
Right.
Let's talk about the roster. Jalen Hudson. Who would have thought a freshman doing so well? I guess Coach Williams says he plays like a freshman. You never know what to expect. But it seems like he's now playing like a sophomore and maturing.
Yeah, he's really. I mean, Buzz has said back since November that Jalen Hudson is the most talented player on his roster. And he said the thing about it is he's 18 years old. He's going to have good days and bad days. And he doesn't practice hard every day, and that's what keeps him on the sideline from playing a lot. So when he can channel that and figure out how to get the best out of him each and every day, I mean, he'll be a terrific player. And I think you saw that yesterday. I mean, the guy just took over the game. They didn't have an answer for Jalen Hudson yesterday. I mean, he had 10 field goals. He was 10 of 10 at the free throw line. 32 points he had, which blew away his career high of 23. But that's the thing. I mean, you look at him, he had the big game yesterday, and then the previous 3 games, he had a grand total of 11 points. So you just never know. And that's kind of the nature of playing so many freshmen.
Yeah, the season started way back in November, still going on in March, and of course, it always caters to the top 4 seeds as far as rest. But you look at Virginia's had a great year, but still they're vulnerable. You never know what's going to happen in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they've lost to Louisville, they've lost to Duke. That's a totally different animal than the ACC tournament because there you're literally one and done.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously for the Hokies, that's the situation here in this tournament. But, yeah, for the bigger tournament, obviously Virginia, Duke are looking for number 1 seeds. Fully expect that they will get those number 1 seeds. They're playing for the bigger prize, and obviously they hope to be able to get to the finals. We'll have to see how that plays out. But, yeah, Virginia, the thing that worries you about Virginia a little bit is the status of Justin Anderson. If they don't have all their weapons, then it makes it a little more difficult. And that's why I think when you look at Duke and you think the fact that they've won 11 games in a row, home and away, I mean, they've taken on all challengers, that maybe they're the favorite. But you can't count Virginia out because they play such great defense.
Right. And, of course, some other teams in Virginia looking at possibly an NIT or William Mary for sure, and, of course, maybe Richmond and Old Dominion as well. So the state's doing very well in basketball this year. And, of course, ACC tournament's going on. Let's switch gears a little bit to football. If somebody would have told you after the Ohio State game, a dominating win in Columbus, that the team would struggle so much in football, would you have believed that, Mike?
Probably not. I mean, I thought maybe that was a chance to have an exceptional year. But the difference was that the team we saw on the field at Ohio State, we never had all those guys on the field again the rest of the year because of injuries. So many injuries had happened, and it made it difficult. And so many games came down to the last possession or the last 2 minutes, and the Hokies uncharacteristically lost those, and they lost home games. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy. But I think when you look at the end of it and winning 3 of the final 4, had their backs against the wall playing Virginia, who was a hot team coming in, and both teams sitting there at 5 and 6. There was more at stake in that game, Greg, than the Commonwealth Cup. I mean, that was like the
Sure.
Super Bowl in the state of Virginia, because whoever won that game not only was going to win the Cup, but they were going to be able to get to a bowl game. And so I thought the Hokies putting up 433 yards against Virginia's defense, that was pretty special, and that was really a remarkable game that they were able to put together.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously having some momentum into the offseason is big.
And of course, Tech did very well. They beat Cincinnati in the bowl
Yeah.
game. So they did very well against the Ohio schools. But Ohio State's going to be gunning for you on that Monday night, September 7th. They're going to be fully loaded. That was not the same Ohio State team that beat Oregon that you guys beat as well. It was a totally different team. But the bottom line was, still, people don't make a big enough deal that Virginia Tech went to Columbus and dominated Ohio State and stunned that crowd that night.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, what a great atmosphere that was. I mean, you think about it, it was a record crowd.
Sure.
They had a brand new field. They had brand new lights.
Right.
I mean, they put a lot into that game. And for the Hokies to go up there and do that, and really in a semi-unproven quarterback and Michael Brewer, it was pretty amazing what he was able to accomplish. And to get a pick 60 in the game, I mean, the Hokies were clicking that night, and they kind of took it to them, and it was an amazing day. And, of course, nobody beat Ohio State since, and they will obviously be gunning for the Hokies with 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to forget that game on September 7th. But then you guys play another Big Ten team, Purdue, a few weeks later. So the schedule definitely looks pretty tough this year.
Yeah, it's going to get better. I mean, I think Jim Weaver did a great job in scheduling some of the future games. Whit Babcock has picked up right where they left off. I think they realize the importance of playing better teams. And so, yeah, East Carolina, I think, is on there now until 2025. So I think the schedule's going to be good. And obviously having Ohio State coming in for the first game gets the players' attention this whole off season. So I think the focus will be everybody will be dialed in this complete off season in terms of what's going to happen in that game one.
Yeah, I think that maroon game, maroon versus white on April 25th, is going to be a little intense. I have a feeling, even though it's still going to be spring, but anytime you play Ohio State early at your place, and they're going to be gunning for you, that's going to be something.
Yeah, it will, and the Hokies will have a quick turnaround, obviously, to play on the next weekend. But what you have to hope happens is that you don't get hurt. I mean, the last thing you want to see is having so many more games in front of you, plus the whole ACC schedule. You don't want to put so much into that game that it affects the rest of your year. So obviously everybody knows Ohio State's great. They'll probably be picked to win it all again next year with 3 great quarterbacks. But I think it's a great opportunity, and it should help season ticket sales. And I fully expect Lane Stadium to be full and wild and crazy that night.
And that's a great point, too, Mike, because, 5 days later you play Furman with a very short turnaround. And Coach Beamer is not a big fan of those short turnaround games, as you well know.
No, he's not. And obviously what happened the one time there when Boise State, we played that game at FedEx Field and came back the next weekend on a short week and played JMU, and taking nothing away from JMU because they played really well that day. But the quick turnaround and the fact the Hokies had lost that game to Boise, JMU came to Lane Stadium and beat the Hokies. So that was the year the Hokies started 0-2. So, yeah, it's not the most ideal situation, but I think when you weigh the fact that you're going to have that unbelievable exposure on Monday Night Football for the Ohio State game, it kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah, you don't have much of a bye. You look at you play Boston College on Halloween at their place, and then you play Georgia Tech on the road on a Thursday night. But there's not a whole lot of byes this year either.
No, and only one Thursday night game on the road, obviously with Georgia Tech, and you got a Friday night game, which nobody's in a favor of that. Friday night, you know how big you're down there. You know how big high school football is in the Tidewater area, and to play a Friday night game, that didn't go over well. And unfortunately, the league's got that Friday night slot, and a lot of teams in the league are going to play a Friday night game, but nobody's a big fan of that, playing NC State on a Friday night.
Because you can't bring any recruits there either. I mean,
exactly.
They have all got games themselves.
Yeah, you lose a whole weekend of recruiting and exposure and all that. Yeah, it's not ideal.
All right, wrapping it up here with Mike Burnop. Mike, we always like to talk a little fun toward the end of the interview. Where are some of the must places you got to eat on the ACC when you and Bill are together? Some of the must places you got to go to.
Gosh, we went to a great place last night. A Smokies. I think it was a Smokies rib and barbecue place. That was outstanding. Stamey's, of course, is a staple here in Greensboro. People love to go there. There's a great local Italian restaurant that one of the ladies here that works for the ACC sets us up every year, so that's outstanding. If you go to Boston, you got to go somewhere that's got great clam chowder, like Illegal Seafood.
Sure.
In Miami, you can go just about anywhere.
It's true.
But we love Joe's. You love Joe's crab balls. That place is just outstanding.
Right. And, of course, for the hunters out there, too, Mike, I mean, you can tell a lot of stories about Blacksburg, Roanoke, and some of the backwoods up there. I mean, there's a lot of great hunting up there for the hunters up there, too, as well, in that neck of the woods.
There's no doubt about that. Matter of fact, my front yard's a great place to hunt deer. They're out there every day.
What other wild animals have you seen? Have you ever seen any like bobcats or anything else up there? I mean, what else have you seen?
No, we've seen some foxes. Saw a fox last year. I was actually jogging down the road and saw one in the ditch that had been hit by a car. So we see quite a few of those.
Right.
I've seen quite a few wild turkey. They say they're deer, but or a bear. I've never seen a bear, but I mean, literally, the deer in the mornings, there'll be 10, 15 in the yards just trying to eat everything they can eat.
Sure.
So there's way too many of those. But, yeah, there's quite a few critters in our neck of the woods.
I always love talking to you, Micah. And, of course, we'll talk to you again later on a few more months down the road. Of course, big game tonight against Miami, 9 o'clock. Get some rest and look forward to your call with Bill Roth.
All right, sounds good, Greg. Good being on with you. Take care, my man.
My pleasure, Mike. Thank you. All right, Mike Burnop right there does color commentary for Virginia Tech. Football and basketball both can. A real gentleman, giving a little flavor behind the scenes of the ACC tournament where Virginia and Virginia Tech are both still alive and well.
And getting it live from the scene, apparently. It was very obvious. He was at the stadium.
Yeah, so he does the radio for Virginia Tech. Absolutely. Great guest.
And
we got CBS News coming up.
Yeah, coming up in about a minute and 10 seconds. We got CBS, so you might update some traffic and weather. And
it's all yours, my friend. All yours.
We got a bad crash on the peninsula. Well, fairly bad if you're heading that way anyway. 64 westbound, Jefferson Avenue, just past the overpass. It's in the inside set of lanes. It's over on the right side. The Berkeley Bridge opening was scheduled for 1 o'clock, but it dropped off the schedule. So don't know if they've canceled it or if it's going to be an on-demand opening or if they've just kind of let it fall into the ether. Maybe Hillary Clinton is dealing with that with her private email system there. Who knows? Other than that, though, steady roll of traffic for the most part. Just a reminder, about 264 East and West in Portsmouth between Frederick and Effingham Street is closed tonight, tomorrow night to all traffic, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., part of that Martin Luther King Freeway project. They're putting in that flyover off-ramp, if you will, to get to the expansion. Also, the downtown tunnels, east and westbound, have single lane closures, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. tonight and tomorrow night, and the Gilmerton Bridge is closed overnight, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. tonight and tomorrow night. Rain today, 71, some evening showers, partly cloudy overnight tonight, a low of 42, and then mostly sunny tomorrow but cooler, a high of 48 degrees. No snow in the forecast. I like that. CBS News is next, followed by more Sports Scene on AM 1650.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan. Crews are working hard at and near the scene of a military helicopter crash last night off the Florida Panhandle and a stretch of beach owned by the military.
We have found some remains and also aircraft parts, but we are still in search and rescue.
Mike Spates is a spokesman at Eglin Air Force Base. 11 service members are presumed dead in the crash.
We're doing search and rescue operations, and obviously we're being somewhat hampered by the fog, so it's difficult and slow going.
Officials say it was foggy last night as well when the Black Hawk helicopter went down during a training mission.
This was a special operations training, which is very common there at Eglin Air Force Base. There were 2 helicopters involved in this particular training exercise. The second helicopter returned safely to base.
CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland, 7 Marines and 4 from a Louisiana National Guard unit were on board. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on Tunein as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1 right here on 1650 AM.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs. A friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com Marketplace Pages.
And everybody in Hampton Roads goes there first to browse, shop, and visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Great sponsors, over 40 businesses to browse, shop, and visit. Tell your friends about HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Also, archive shows of this show, GJBTV.com. Click the YouTube link. As well, shop on the Marketplace sponsors. Save the date each Wednesday from 12 to 1 for Sports Scene. And of course, we have our business spotlight scenes coming up. What teased me off? Sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. High school encore games going on. Check the program guide on NNPSTV.com, especially on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Great guests as well, presented by Mi Casita Mexican.com, Blue Cafe, and all the great sponsors. Ken, have you noticed before we continue with the show how many different reporters there are on Channel 3, 10, and 13? It almost seems like they get warm bodies on there. They can't sustain or keep reporters. It's like a revolving door. You have no idea who these kids are. The anchors seem to stay. I'll give credit there. The anchors stay, but these reporters seem like they're just kids totally lost in the dark.
Yeah, this is a mid-market in Tidewater. We're like 30th, 35th, 36th, somewhere along there in the market, which is halfway. You're not in the boonies, but you're not in New York and Atlanta, and this is often a place where people come to work their way up the ladder, or sometimes down the ladder, mostly up. So yeah, you'll see some new faces. They'll come through, get a resume together, and then they're off to Atlanta or New York or somewhere else big. But it's nice to have them here while they're here, and it's good to see them build a resume. And if they can do that, good on them. I
got to give credit to my friend, Brian Parsons. He does an excellent job. All the anchors do a really good job. But I do a lot of TV at the national level, and most of these kids that are reporters on these local TV stations couldn't nowhere get near that level. And I'm wondering, are they just like putting most wanted ads? And like, if you can get behind a mic, now there are a few good ones, but for the most part, it seems like it's just a revolving door, Ken. It wasn't like that when Custer was around and different people that were, on Channel 3, Channel 10, and 13. It just seems like now, warm body, go talk about traffic and weather, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the television broadcasting market is not as stable as it once was. It's changed entirely. The internet and Netflix and things like that, having access to video 24/7 has really changed the nature of television broadcasting, especially news broadcasting, and especially local news broadcasting. So it's a different animal. It's a different world. We don't see the same faces for years and years like we used to. You'd see Bruce Berry on, and he'd be on Channel 3
Nate
forever. Nate Custer, people like that. It's fairly fresh kids right out of broadcasting school, and again, working in the resumes and hoping for CNN or something like that.
I think they ought to find that. They ought to find another career. But anyway, Ken, let's take a short break. This is Sports Scene live on the radio on News Talk 1650. TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT to listen to your phone or your computer. Yes, we've got decades of experience here, folks, and we'll be back after these messages.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs. A friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And Ken, we were not exaggerating the decades of experience you and I have. It's almost too long. We both started as teenagers in this business, but really that's how you become good, by starting as a teenager.
Oh yeah, the earlier you start, the more you do, the better you are.
Absolutely. All right.
Except in my case.
You're still doing great, Kenny. All right, this is Sports Scene live every Wednesday, 12 to 1, the only remaining sports show from the old game, because that was the only decent show we had at the game, was Sports Scene. But that's not saying much, Ken, compared to some of the competition I had when I worked at the game for 6 years. Anyway, this is Sports Scene right here, of course, every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Hope you enjoyed our great guest with Mike Burnop, who's at the ACC tournament. Now we're going to go closer to home, talk to my buddy Ross Gordon, who is the voice of Norfolk State. Going to talk about what's going on at the Scope this week. And Ross, a lot's going on at the Scope, my friend.
Yeah, it's good times, Ken. And Greg, thanks for having me on. Always appreciate talking to you, Greg. You know, it's always a good thing when you can talk about basketball, especially on this kind of level in our Hampton Roads area. It's been some good games thus far, nice crowds at the Scope. And we're looking forward to even bigger crowds tonight. And better game tonight is very own Norfolk State plays their first game tonight against South Carolina State.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about girls and boys first. Go ahead and give the girls a shout out. Of course, we hear a lot about Kayla and of course Ray, but talk about the entire team.
Yeah, you look at this team and it's really gelled a little bit. Had some situations which really brought them together. I know a lot of people saw it in the pilot this weekend. Ebony Brown, which was one of our rotational players, broke her tibia and her fibula this year, and the team really rallied around that. One of our better rebounders, Nia Roberts, who's just now getting back into shape after sitting out 8 games due to a concussion. So this team is very, very skilled, especially at the guard position. Jasmine Gray leads the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. Ray Corbo, second in the conference in scoring, only made second team in the conference. That tells you how good this guard league is. You look at our post players with Kayla Roberts and her sister Nia. They're really starting to play well together, which is big for them because they haven't played together for a long time, because Kayla really got going when her sister Nia got hurt. And on her way to the Rookie of the Year in the MEAC this year, she really stepped it up over the last 12 ball games. I believe she's averaging somewhere in the range of 14, 15 points a game and pulling down 11 rebounds. She led the league in rebounding. So she's one of those players who can do it all, especially on the offensive end. She does a great job on second chance opportunities and does a great job as well as shooting the 3-ball for a big.
This is Sports Scene live right here on the radio. Talking to my good friend Ross Gordon at 1242. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson. Listen anywhere in the world on tunein.com. Type in WHKT on your phone or your computer. And, of course, 1650 here locally. Ross, so go ahead and set the stage. Give us the start time for the women and the start time for the men.
Well, the women will play tomorrow at 2:30. They have Howard, a team which they've defeated twice this year. One time the Spartans won by 19. The last time, I believe it was last week, last Monday night, the Spartans won by 360. And Ray Corbo, the leading scorer, was hurt. Actually had a little flu bug, so she's back. She's better. She played well on Monday. So they start at 2:30 against Howard. Should be a nice matchup. It's tough to beat a team 3 times, but hopefully Norfolk State can do that to get to the semifinal round on Friday. The men play tonight at 8 o'clock against South Carolina State, which squeaked out a win last night against the North Carolina A&T team that was right there at the end of the ball game, just couldn't pull it out. South Carolina State and Norfolk State played once this year. The Spartans won by double digits, a 19-point win down in Orangeburg. So the Spartans know a little bit about the South Carolina State team. But a huge game last night for Stevens. This is the Spartans' first game in the scope, so it could go either way. You would like to say Norfolk State should have the advantage of being the 2 seed. But South Carolina State shot the ball very, very well in the first half. Didn't shoot it that well in the second half, but has an opportunity to pull a big upset tonight.
You know, I tell you, Ross, dude, I've known you for a long time. This is a big credit to this area to have a tournament with March Madness on the line. People should not take it for granted. Where's Old Dominion playing at? They're playing in way out in the southeast part of the country where nobody's going to go from here. Of course, you look at the other schools, Richmond and VCU are going to be going to, of course, Brooklyn. Right, we got the MEAC right here. You got Norfolk State and Hampton right here in their own backyard. And it's even though you're, of course, partial to Norfolk State, you're almost like the ambassador. You're the welcoming committee, and you've really got to roll out the red carpet. And the MEAC conference really does, and they really count on Norfolk State to head that up with Hampton.
Exactly right. And you look at if you go into the Scope Arena any day this week, you'll see a whole lot of green and gold. They've supported the tournament since it's come here, which is one of the reasons why the tournament and the city, the conference and the city has renewed that lease on the contract, which is another 3 years. So we'll be here another 3 years. It was the first 3-year agreement, and now they're here another 3 years. So you've seen the conference tournament grow. The first night was the largest in attendance that they've had, and due to the fact that Norfolk State played early, but a lot of the Norfolk State fans came back, and also you're starting to see a lot of the casual fan come in and support the good basketball, because it is great basketball. It's going to be broadcasted, as you know, on ESPN3 all week, which is the first time that it's done that. Every game in the tournament will be broadcasted on the ESPN family of networks, so it's growing in ways that no one ever could imagine. With Norfolk State being less than 3 miles away from the Scope, people really get to come by, see the university, see the growth of the university. There's sports the sports scene here in Hampton Roads is amazing, especially at this time, because you're seeing high school basketball finish up, you're seeing college basketball get going. And it's just a great atmosphere, especially in the Hampton Roads area. And as much as we talk about it here with guys like yourself and everyone else just getting involved, it's an amazing opportunity for people to get involved and see great basketball.
I've been there for the last 3 years. Of course, you're very well connected with it. And there's nothing like it, folks. I mean, we really can't take it for granted. The Sun Belt was here back in the day. The CAA was here in the late 80s before they went to the Richmond Coliseum. Now they're in Baltimore. To have a local event with this magnitude, a week long basically, Raw 6 days. The final game Saturday will be on 1 o'clock on ESPN2, the men, and the women will be on ESPN3 after that game as well. Really just a showcase event for the entire area that they have not seen before, and really it's something for everyone, Ross, for kids, adults, and senior citizens as well.
Exactly right. You talk about the kids, they get involved in the basketball game. A lot of prizes given away during the tournament. That's a high school day for the area seniors and area high schools that want to come out and see the universities that are involved with the MEAC. The adults, of course, they have all of the MEAC events that some of the people from a long time ago would enjoy, like the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm excited because I'm a 49er fan. I don't hide that. Antoine Bethea, who also played at Howard, will be inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame this week. Also, you're talking about guys like Marquise Grissom, a former Major League Baseball player, came from FAMU. He'll be inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame this week. A lot of great events and people that you will know, especially around from this area. Antoine Bethea, right from over, I believe, in Newport News. He went to Mansfield High School, so it's a local feel, and also you get a taste of what these schools have presented over the last few years. So it's an amazing time, and I think a lot of people have fun. There's a lot of other events, especially in the Norfolk area off Granby Street, that people can enjoy. Great food downtown.
Sure.
You can go right to Buffalo Wild Wings and have a great time after the game and watch some of the games on television as well.
Yeah, Antoine went, of course, to Howard, played for the Colts, 49ers. He went to Denby in Newport News. Excellent young man. That's okay. It's all good talking to Ross Gordon, of course, and you got your broadcast as well. But really, I mean, it's a nice feeling for the Norfolk State family to basically really roll out of bed and have the tournament in their own backyard. You must love that, Ross.
Man, it's great and bad at the same time.
Why is that?
You get away,
Yeah.
you get a week away, stay in a hotel, enjoy some of the other cities. But this is great, Greg. One, you get an opportunity. It's like I probably wouldn't have this opportunity anywhere else to talk to you guys about how great the tournament is. They will probably try to talk to somebody locally, but it's good when you can brag about where you're from and where you work and how great the area is and what the area has to offer, especially since 2012 when Norfolk State won that championship coming in. That's when the Spartans really became the talk of the MEAC and per se. The year we went 16-0 was the first year the tournament was here in Norfolk, and the buzz around it. People are excited this year with us being the number 2 seed to get to the championship. Hopefully, it's a great feeling to know that you don't have to travel anywhere if you're a Norfolk State fan to come and see the Spartans play. It can be just like Joe Eccles Hall. If you want to come see a big game, you can come see the game right down the street. And again, you can enjoy the tournament setting because you can go home. You can stay out a little bit later if you want to and then just drive home. So it's a great opportunity for the people in Hampton Roads, and I hope they take advantage of it because it's a great feeling to have a tournament. I don't think Norfolk had a tournament for a while. I believe maybe the CIAA was one of the last conferences to have a conference championship here. Maybe the women's tournament was over at ODU from the CAA a while back, but to have this kind of feel for a conference championship, knowing what this time means, especially to the country, to see what's going to go down in March Madness is just a huge attribute to what the city of Norfolk has done. The Scope Arena for what they've done to remodel and to make the arena more attractive to anyone. It's a great time in Norfolk.
I agree because very few Old Dominion fans are going to go to the Southeast. Very few Richmond or VCU fans are going to go to New York. UVA fans, of course, they'll be in Greensboro. But still, this is the local event. This is a statewide event, and it's right here in Hampton Roads. Take advantage of it. Ross, I'll leave you with this note. Could you imagine if either Norfolk State men or women are in the final Saturday? That has not happened the last couple of years because, Hampton women have won it. But could you imagine the crowd Saturday on national TV?
Man, it would be the best thing for the conference. We talked about this at the beginning of every year.
Sure.
The tournament came to Norfolk. The best thing that ever could have happened to the tournament was to come to Norfolk. But this year, it just so happens that on both sides, the women and the men of Norfolk State Hampton are on the same side of the bracket, so you won't be able to get there on Saturday. That's not only Norfolk State making it to the championship, but could you imagine the day if Norfolk State and Hampton makes it to the championship?
Oh boy!
And what kind of atmosphere that could be, especially around the whole Hampton Roads area. It would be either painted green or gold or blue and white. That's exactly what the MEAC, I'm sure deep down in their hearts, they won't say it out loud, would want, especially when you have two schools in the area, less than 15, 20 miles away from the arena that you have your conference championship in. I'm a Norfolk State fan. I hope the Spartans get there on Saturday, but the Spartans will have to play. If they win, it's a possibility Norfolk State can play Hampton on Friday night, which is just as large because it's another great atmosphere because you get a chance to get off work and get to the gym because it'll be at 8 o'clock.
It's the place to be, of course, my friend. We look forward to talking to you down the road. Say hello to Matt and all the good people at Norfolk State, and I'll see you in a few days.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you, Greg, and thank you, Ken, for having me on y'all's show.
Always a pleasure, my friend. You're a real gentleman.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ross Gordon right there. Ken talking a little local flavor, having a local event right here at the Norfolk Scope. And, of course, the Scope's doing everything to host a wonderful event for the fans here in Hampton Roads.
It's been going to the Scope since 1970, 71. I forgot when I think it was 71 when they opened up. I think with the first show we saw, there was Holiday on Ice.
I remember going to the Hampton Coliseum as a kid, still remembering my first ice cream sandwich I had there. It was like, oh my God, I went and saw a tennis match with Jimmy Connors, and I still remember the ice cream sandwich. All right, let's take a short break. We'll come back with Sports Scene live on the radio after these messages.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has two locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
For over 25 years, people have counted on one name for all their residential and commercial moving needs. A friendly and affordable mover. No job is too big or too small, and they will assist you with your best interest in mind. Always providing free estimates, a friendly and affordable mover is a company you can count on. Have peace of mind on your next move with a friendly and affordable mover. Call 689-0935 or log on to lovemymover.com. When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
Back with us live right here on the radio, Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson. Ken, you see where that kid that passed away from the beer commercials?
Yeah.
Really friendly, jovial guy. Really sad to hear that.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just out of nowhere, it seems like.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's now welcome our business spotlight scene from High Tide Screen Printing. Let's welcome Brenda. How are you, Brenda?
Hi, Greg. I'm doing great, thanks.
Very good. Tell us about your printing business with your family.
Well, we have High Tide Screen Printing, which is here off Bird Neck Road in Virginia Beach, and what we do is we specialize in doing custom T-shirts for like sports teams, rec leagues, companies, businesses, schools, you name it, just about we can do it.
Where's your address over there?
It's 545 South Bird Neck Road, Suite 105.
Yeah, I know.
We're right near the Owls Creek Golf Course.
I know that area because when I used to work for the game, the sports talk station back in 07, we used to be right there on Bird Neck. And oh boy, all kinds of state police around that intersection. That's for sure, folks. So be careful riding by there.
Oh, definitely watch your speed.
Absolutely. Of course, so there's something really there for everyone, isn't it, Brenda? There's all kinds of amenities there, and it really can go on and on what you can order.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we can do koozies for weddings, which, you put your cold cans in. Hoodies, T-shirts, tank tops. We can do cups and mugs and all kinds of things.
How about your Facebook page and phone number?
Yeah, my Facebook page we're listed as High Tide Screen Printing. Pretty simple there.
Mm-hmm.
The phone number here is 757-627-8337.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a website too at hightidestees.com, and that's TEES at the end.
Very good, very good. What are your hours?
Well, it's a family business, so basically around the clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Normally, 10, it could be good. We could be here till 7 o'clock at night. We work Saturdays, Sundays. So if you have something that needs to be done quickly, we'll get it done for you.
Right there at High Tide Screen Printing in Virginia Beach, 627-8337. Once again on Bird Neck Road, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Well, we will talk to you very soon, Brenda. Thank you so much, and glad you're feeling better as well.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
You too. My pleasure. Okay, Ken, right there. Brenda from High Tide Screen Printing. Let's get to what tees me off.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
We talked about it earlier. Reporters can with no experience. Zero experience.
Well, give them a little time. If after a year they're still clueless, then give them some grief.
Okay, how about reporters that are holding their cell phones or their tablets while they're on the air? Folks, we don't want to see you text messaging while you're doing a live report on the snow. I don't care who you're text messaging.
Maybe that's where they have their notes.
Oh, my God. Please put the phone away. All right. Ken, people that love to go patio dining this time of the year, folks, you really can't enjoy a meal outdoors. There's bugs. There's humidity. It's cold. It's wet. Enjoy the meal indoors. Have a conversation. Then walk outdoors.
I think there's probably maybe 15, 20 days out of the 365 where it would be a nice, comfortable way to dine. Other than that, it's either too hot, too cold, the training, it's windy, there's bugs. And come on, this isn't the area for outdoor dining.
No, it's not.
This is not San Francisco or San Diego.
Exactly. Of course, phone chargers, they always seem to either go bad or they're hard to plug in sometimes.
Oh, and the batteries on the smartphones, if they would last a little longer, that would really be nice.
I went to a local store out of certain product, really. I mean, how can you be out of a product at a major store? How?
I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, it was a normal, hygiene thing. All right, lack of condiments at fast food places.
Yeah, that's kind of bad because
Okay.
some people like to have ketchup on their French fries.
Right, bathrooms not stocked at public places.
That's just uncalled for. If you don't have somebody that can keep track of that, then you need to go out of business.
I'm sorry, folks, but parking lot for the big chain stores, the parking, it's almost like too much walking, Ken. Are they trying to make you go through a marathon to get in front of a Walmart, for God's sake? Oh, where's Walmart? That's 200 yards away. That's the nearest parking spot. And then when you're, go forth and so on.
And the one at Town Center has got to be one of the worst for parking. In some cases, you have to park on a second floor, take the elevator down, then cross this. But that's a bit much.
Maneuvering around parking lots in general, like at Starbucks or something, both people backing out at the same time, bumping into each other.
Backing up, people just look. I've been backed into in my car twice at stoplights.
Ugh.
People just all of a sudden decide they want to get in the other lane. Don't look. Just start backing up, full speed, crash, bam, boom. Come on. The rearview mirrors are there for a reason, not just to fix your makeup and comb your hair.
And I got bumped in at a drive-thru once. All right, I want to thank Mike Burnop, also from the ACC tournament, Virginia Tech, Ross Gordon from Norfolk State, talking about the MEAC and the scope, and Brenda Van Dorn as well from High Tide Screen Printing. We'll be back next Wednesday from 12 to 1 live on the radio. Meanwhile, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Always a lot of fun. Got to have a sense of humor, folks. We love doing the show with you right here. And, of course, interact at Greg Bick on Twitter. Add me on Facebook on Greg Bicouvaris as well. So for Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. Stay cool, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, The Answer. It's 1 p.m.